I'm Actipub, and today I'm going to be doing a video where I give you 100 facts about Rainbow High. I want to kind of do this with some other doll lines. I won't be able to get 100 facts as I did Loxy's, and I think I got like 26, but nonetheless, I'm very fascinated with learning about other doll lines, like trying to figure out information about them, especially doll lines where there's not generally a lot of information. And so, yeah. Rainbow High, obviously, there's a decent amount of information. They're an active doll line created by a pretty well-known company in the United States. So it's a little bit easier. I say that because Loxy's is Bandai, which is not from the US. Anyways, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is 100 facts about Rainbow High. Number 1. Rainbow High was released in 2020. Number 2. Rainbow High was created by Michael Scott Anderson. He is known for being one of the creators that work for MGA, and he's worked on other doll lines for them like Novi Star, Project MC Squared, and Poopsie Surprise. And he's like the lead creator of Rainbow High, or he created Rainbow High. Anyways. Number 3. Rainbow High was produced by the company MGA Entertainment. Again, MGA is known for making quite a few different dolls. Current ones would be LOL and OMG, Bratz, a bunch of other doll lines that are not coming to my head right now. Number 4. Rainbow High and adult collectors. I debated on putting this one where I did, but I decided to bring it up. I feel like Rainbow High has a on and off relationship with collectors. I feel like in the early stages of releasing dolls, I feel like they genuinely listen to collectors. And I'm one of the people, when Rainbow High did their reboot, which we'll get into eventually, I'm a firm believer that dolls are intended for children. And I felt like when Rainbow High had like a bunch of collectors were upset about them for the reboot, and they were like, but we're the more important ones, or we buy the majority of the dolls. I am a firm believer that dolls are intended for kids. And like if Rainbow High really thought that collectors were like the majority of their audience, they would make more collector dolls, if that makes sense. But I do think that they genuinely played a part in some of the Rainbow High beginnings. Collectors complained about the lack of neck articulation, as well as like the really shiny faces. They changed that. Collectors were upset about lack of diversity. They changed that. However, they've had other issues in the more recent future, but I wanted to put that in. I know that's not super Rainbow High related, but it's important to note that collectors have had some sort of hold on Rainbow High, especially in the very beginning. Like, everyone had Rainbow High dolls. It was insane. So I debated putting that in because it's not like a specific Rainbow High fact, but I wanted to talk about them because I feel like collectors were huge in the beginning of Rainbow High, and now I rarely see people post. Sorry. Number 5. There was a TV series on Netflix to go along with the doll line. Number 6. Rainbow High dolls originally cost about $25 to $27.99. Number 7. There were 6 characters in the first wave. Number 8. Each Rainbow High character represented a specific color. Number 9. The first 6 dolls that were introduced were Ruby Anderson, representing red, Poppy Rowan, representing orange, Sunny Madison, representing yellow, Jade Hunter being green, Skylar Bradshaw being blue, and Violet Willow representing purple or violet. Number 10. All of the Rainbow High characters have distinct personalities, which are labeled on the MGA website, as well as you get to know their personalities through watching the shows or reading the books. Number 11. The name Rainbow High represents not only the name of the doll line, but also the school in which the characters attend in the show, and it is a visual arts school. Number 12. Each of the characters have a specific focus or study. Violet being digital media, Skylar is fashion, just to name a few. You can see Gabriella Isley, I always forget that's her last name, at the very bottom of her full description. It says fashion design. This is taken, I believe, from the MGA/Rainbow High website, so they all have a very detailed list of what they are, which when Rainbow High first came out, I was very fascinated and I read a lot of them. But you can see at the very bottom it says fashion designer. It was also on their box. If you see actually the Gabriella logo, the little logo thing, around the outside, the gold piece, that would have whatever, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, that would have whatever their focus was inside. I believe, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was a logo that looked something like that, and I think that's just a cute little add-on. So I wanted to say that. Number 13. Each doll, a part of the main release of Wave 1, Wave 2, Wave 3, came with a stand, a hairbrush, a second outfit, and 2 hangers, along with, obviously, the doll. And I included a photo of what you could get. The hangers are different. The pant ones are the ones that they got, and then the other ones, the shirt ones, they say rainbow on them. They didn't originally say that. That's the new added design. This was later changed, though. Number 14. The Rainbow High dolls have inset eyes as well as 13 points of articulation, including upper thigh articulation and a double joint in the knee. Sorry. You can actually see it on here, so their head can move around, and then it can also tilt. They have the arm, elbow, wrist, I'm trying to think of body articulation, as well as leg, and then upper thigh. You can see that little joint there, and then knee. And then I don't think that I really talk about it, but collector dolls had an upper underneath their chest, and then some of them, like Jet Dawson, I don't think the twins had it, but Jet had a really big double joint. She could sit on her knees, and then, or her legs, her knees could fully bend, and then also she had an ankle joint. But the majority of them have this articulation here. This was standard, which I think was another really big appeal to the dolls, is that they had so much articulation from the get-go. Monster High didn't even have the upper leg joint, and it could go further past a 90-degree ankle, which was really neat. I don't know. It just had a lot of articulation in my opinion, and I was very happy about it. The other thing that I mentioned was it had inset eyes. That just means they're not painted, so I hope you can see it in the photo what I'm referencing. Apologies if you can't. Number 15. Early dolls had no extra joint in the neck, meaning they could only move side to side. They couldn't move up and down, but then they later fixed that in other batches. So first wave of them coming out, the first 6, Ruby, Poppy, Sunny, Jade, Skylar, Violet, they all had the neck peg where they couldn't tilt, which isn't like the most drastic thing, but the like collectors complained about it. I think that's one of the things they complained about. And those same dolls, next batches that they released could tilt. Just a little side note. Number 16. Early dolls also featured very shiny, glittery faces, which were also changed in other batches. This one doesn't have it. She's not a first wave. This is Karma. I could only find Bella, but she's series 2, and I feel like she always has a shiny face. But none of mine have it. Otherwise, I would have taken a photo. Number 17. 2 other dolls that were released along with the first wave, both being dolls that were more expensive. Amaya, which was a hair play doll, and Avery was a doll that came with a wig and extra fashion, 2 wigs, and they're displayed here. Amaya with the rainbowy hair, and Avery with the 2 wigs, obviously. Number 18. There are 5 different series or waves. The 5th and final wave or main release that they did not include a second outfit. Instead, the dolls came with extra accessories. This is the 5th wave, I believe, the last wave that they did. The waves that I'm talking about, because there's obviously other dolls, I think they're called series. So there was series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was like a group of 6 characters that they released at once, if that makes sense, okay? Number 19. Each series that they did consists of a doll and new characters representing a specific color of the rainbow in the Roy G. Biv lineup. The only one that I would exclude is Series 2. I even think that I'm going to exclude Series 5, because if you look, there's not like a purple, but the rest of the lines stuck to like a red or pink doll, an orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's just like 2 blue dolls here, which is crazy, and they're out of order. And then kind of same here, but nonetheless, really like them. And they were new characters that they introduced each time, so it wasn't repeating characters that we got, which was also an exciting and fun thing. Number 20. Rainbow High did a few doll lines outside of their main release dolls. One included the cheer dolls that were around $22 price point. They did not come with a second outfit or a stand. The lines that they did, like this, the cheer, some others that we're going to get into, they were also represented in the show. So you could see why they did a cheer line, why they did a slumber party line or other doll lines. They were shown in the show, which was neat. Number 21. Rainbow High also released winter break dolls. These were priced higher than the main release dolls. They also included a second outfit and some sort of accessory. This could be a ski or sled. And I don't remember if they had a stand. I didn't put that in here. Nonetheless, very cute. I never got any because it was the same characters repeating. They'll do that a lot. The main 6, or the originals, they use them a lot. And I was trying not to collect too many of the same character, and I regret that. But they were also quite expensive, I feel. I feel like they were maybe even 40. I don't want to say 40, but I feel like 35. I don't remember. I didn't put that in. Number 20. They then released the runway line, which again consists of the original 6 girls and Amaya. There were 7 plus Amaya on the end. These outfits were featured in the first season of the Netflix show at the very end. It was like a competition that they were leading up to. They were very anticipated by fans, and they took over a year to come out. I even think it was more than that. I remember fans being disappointed that they didn't release these dolls. These dolls were around $34.99, and they featured a stand as well as a second outfit, a sketchbook, and a pen or something. I feel like they also probably had hangers and stuff. I don't remember that. But Poppy was really hard to get their hands on. This was right around the time that they announced that they were doing a reboot and that Poppy would not be a part of the reboot. And for whatever reason, it was really hard for people to get their hands on. I was lucky enough to find mine in store. But I remember for a good point, I feel like now they're fine, but for a good while, people could not get their hands on Poppy. Number 23. Rainbow High released collector dolls for holidays. I don't know why Amaya's in here because she's not a collector doll, but there's the twins. They were considered collector dolls. I cannot think of your name. Lily at the bottom. I don't remember hers. I want to say it starts with an M, but I couldn't remember. There's also Jet Dawson. Anyone else that I can remember? No, not really. They released some collector dolls that were significantly more pricey than other dolls. The twins were like $50. I feel like the two at the bottom were $100. Jet was like $60. But they were more focused on releasing them. They were considered collector, if that makes sense. Number 24. They released a 24-inch Amaya doll. This is inspired by the second release of Amaya. If you see here in the top right corner, that's Amaya. I'll go back to find, here's also Amaya on the very end. Okay, so we're seeing like lots of white hair. The 24-inch doll is inspired by the one on the very end of this photo. That's what she's inspired by. Very excited, got her. She was also, I feel like, I don't know if she was considered a collector. Love her, have her. She's adorable. Absolutely the most beautiful thing on the planet. Number 25. My runway friend, Bella, was a 24-inch doll that was announced and then later a canceled concept. She was supposed to be with Amaya, who is 24-inch. They were called My Runway Friend. After releasing Amaya, they canceled Bella. Never saw designs, never saw concepts, just using this photo of Bella. Number 26. Rainbow High released Target exclusive dolls. I included these because I feel like these, in my opinion, whenever I think of Target exclusive Rainbow High dolls, I think of these ones. This is it's a band line. I don't remember what they're called. There were 3 released in this line. Very cute. They've also done other things, like there was a giant 6-pack of the original 6 dolls. I almost said 4. And they were in one outfit. So, and then they also did, which we'll talk about, they did a Walmart exclusive of that same box, but they were wearing the second outfit. But it was the same characters, just because Rainbow High comes with more than one outfit, which I thought was really neat. But they've had other ones over the years of different Target exclusives. Number 27. Rainbow High also released Walmart exclusives. This is the Slumber Party line. You could only get them at Walmart. You couldn't get them at other places. And I say that lightly because I was able to find these other places, and I think Amazon had them as well. But you could not get these ones, the Slumber Party line, at Target. You could only get them at Walmart. Number 28. They released a big pack of dolls / multi-packs. Again, I talked about they released this giant pack, and you could get the flip version of the dolls in their second outfit at Walmart. I don't know if this one was Target or if this one was Walmart. Cool concept. Anyways, they've also released dolls with their younger counterpart / junior high dolls. They released 2 packs of the cheer dolls, so you could get 2 of the dolls instead of just 1. They also did a bigger pack with half Shadow High, half Rainbow High. They've done quite a few over the years, bigger packs, but they're practically just the same exact dolls that you could get. You could just get more of them. Number 29. Rainbow High released 2 blind boxes for $10 each, one which had a mystery pair of shoes in it, and the other blind box consisted of a mystery bag inside. There was expected to be a second wave of both of them, but they were later discontinued. Number 30. Rainbow High is the successor to MGA's doll line called Rainbow Surprise, which was a blind box, and the dolls were much taller than the current Rainbow High dolls. Number 31. Rainbow Surprise were dolls that had a slime element and only had 5 points of articulation. I know what you're going to say here. This is not a blind box. You can clearly see what doll it is. I believe they later produced the dolls not in blind boxes because enough people complained that they were spending like $60. I don't even know how much they were, but they were a lot for a doll that they could end up getting a double of. And the only cool concept about them being blind boxes were you could buy, there were 2 separate blind boxes, and if you bought one of each, you were guaranteed to not get the same character because one of the blind boxes had 1 or 2, it had two options, and then the other had the 2 other options, if that makes sense. Okay. Makes sense in my head. Number 32. Another line slightly connected to Rainbow High was the Rainbow Surprise Fantasy Friends dolls, which were surprise dolls created by MGA. They were little pixie fairy dolls. Some of them didn't have wings. Some of them were mermaids. They had a slime element, and they were originally released before Rainbow High was released, but after Rainbow High came out, the name switched from Rainbow Surprise Fantasy Friends to Rainbow High Fantasy Friends. These were really cool, really liked them. They also have a slime element, a glitter element. I don't know, very cute concept actually. Number 33. The connection between Rainbow High and Fantasy Friends is explained as Sunny created them for her animated show, Hi Hi Kawaii. I apologize if I said that wrong. Number 34. This doll line has since been canceled. Number 35. Rainbow High has released many different playsets throughout the line. This includes a few different versions of the 3-story house, a pool for the Pacific Coastline, a camper for Rainbow Vision. They released a light-up car as well as a design station that came with Skylar. Number 36. Rainbow High released budget dolls lacking articulation, only having about 5 points, and the majority of the dolls were simplified outfits of other pre-existing dolls. They could be priced around $15 and were usually sold at Dollar Generals. There were Rainbow High dolls as well as some Shadow High dolls. These, I believe, are custom, so they look a little bit better, by the way. Like somebody retouched them up. But if you recognize some of these characters, they're dolls that already exist that they just simplified the outfits for, which I think is a little bit disappointing, in my opinion. Number 37. Rainbow High did a spin-off series called Junior High, which imagined the main 6 characters as younger selves. So they were slightly smaller than Rainbow High dolls, and they were priced around $22. They did a series 2 of the Junior High dolls as well as special edition. Again, this is a big pack, but you could get them separately. They came with brushes. I don't know if they came with stands, but they're smaller and they're very cute. Number 38. There are 88 episodes in Rainbow High's series, including the 2 specials. Number 39. Content with Karma is a spin-off of Rainbow High with 9 episodes miniseries following Karma, one of the characters introduced in the second series. Beautiful Karma. Love her. Number 40. Content with Karma replaced Vi's Life, which was 1-minute-long episodes that recapped the previous Rainbow High episodes. There were 23 episodes of Vi Life. Number 41. There's a book series which includes 4 books. Number 42. Rainbow High has a lot of merch outside of the lines and media, meaning dolls and books, shows, whatnot. This includes clothing, jewelry, making, makeup, sketchbooks, and other sorts. I included a few other things. They also have clothing that you can purchase. Number 43. There are many different face molds in Rainbow High. The twins Laurel and Holly were the first in the series to get a face change. Again, I believe this may have been caused by collectors' lack of face diversity. I don't know. Number 44. MGA has a stereotyping issue. Most of the Asian dolls wear cultural outfits that are not even accurate to their culture, while other dolls do not wear cultural outfits. I want to point it out here. I grabbed the 3 Asian dolls. Lila, Lily, I do not remember her name, but this wouldn't have been an issue in my opinion. The only issue is that they really didn't introduce any other Asian dolls other than K-pop, the K-pop inspired ones, and then which obviously are going to reference more of the K-pop fashion, but then also I can't think of the other one that I was thinking of. Jet. People consider Jet to be possibly Asian. I can't think if there's any others, but it's interesting that the 3 that they introduced, the 3 here, got some sort of cultural outfits, but no other dolls that they did referenced their culture in their outfits. For very few. I can't really think of any. Lila was the one that is probably the most controversial, as one of her outfits is not her ethnicity. I don't remember what she is. I'm going to assume she's Japanese, and her outfit represents maybe Chinese? I can't actually remember. I'll look it up. I wanted to actually look it up to have more information on this. So initially, she was advertised as a Japanese exchange student. Her first outfit incorporated traditional Japanese kimono and Chinese, I don't know what that's called, but elements, confusing fans and leading to criticism. This was later changed. Her backstory got updated, saying that she has both Japanese and Chinese heritage. But nonetheless. And then obviously you can kind of see it with this one. She has traditional, Indian inspired, I believe. She's wearing henna and whatnot. Again, this genuinely wouldn't be a problem, but no other doll represents another country that isn't Asian. So it's kind of annoying. And then I included Lily, even though her whole idea is that she is supposed to be representing a specific culture. But I just wanted to show, nonetheless, I think that they're really cool dolls, but I do think it's kind of annoying, and that they couldn't give them anything. And even Jet isn't considered, I don't think in her bio she's considered to be Asian, but I think people look at her and consider. So Anyways, I just wanted to bring that up because MJ has a lot of controversy over the years. Number 45, after a long rant. Lack of hair diversity. Or diversity in general, to be honest. I'm trying to think. The only ones that we really see is like Crystal's junior high doll has textured hair. And then Iris from the reboot has textured hair. But there's quite a few dolls that they do not give textured hair to. I've seen some people do some really cute customs giving dolls textured hair, but definitely lack of any hair diversity. Number 46. Rainbow High originally lacked diversity in the first wave with six main dolls, and 4 were very white, and the 2 black dolls being whitewashed. Listen, it's valid. I always give MJ a hard time when it comes to diversity because Isaac Larian, who is the CEO of MGA, brags so much about Bratz being what they are, being that there are 4 main dolls that were released and 3 of them were not white. But then whitewashes them a lot. So if you look at these dolls, again, if you look and you still cannot figure out who the non-white dolls are, that's okay, because I feel like every photo that I look at, unless it's taken by a collector or a person, if it's not taken professionally, it's kind of hard to tell, but Sunny and Skylar, the one in yellow and blue, are not white, and the other ones are so white, they're translucent. They almost blend into the background. Again, it wouldn't have been a problem, in my opinion. Obviously, I'd like to see more diversity and stuff, but I personally wouldn't have complained too much. I would have loved to see more, but I feel like they got a lot of heat for lack of diversity. But they're so white. They're so translucent. And then obviously in other things like art and stuff, when they put the dolls' faces on stuff, I just feel like they Sunny is so much darker in person than in this photo, but I feel like they just whitewashed them, which I feel like Bratz also had that issue for, and I always hate on them for it, so I'm gonna keep saying it. But lack of diversity in general. Number 47. The lack of diversity led them to release Karma and Crystal in the second wave. I didn't even include Karma. I'm so sorry. This is Crystal, purple, very, very gorgeous. Have her, very much love her, beautiful. Number 48. Sorry, Karma. Rainbow High also introduced Jewel Richer, I hope that's how you say her name, in Series 4, who has vitiligo. Number 49. The characters don't have a specific age, but you can assume that they're from the ages 14 to 19 as their high school age. However, the show has had many inconsistencies as they stay the same age in the same year throughout all 6 seasons. Number 50, halfway there. Rainbow High has an issue with coming up with their own designs as they take many of their designs from other celebrities. Examples, I wrote Billie Eilish. You can tell that Jade is clearly inspired by Billie Eilish, especially with those green shorts. This one, I cannot think of her name. I'm so sorry. Being clear reference to Rihanna. I also think she's kind of a reference to... I hate to be so mean because I have this doll, but the girl from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the one that she turned blue. Anyways, and then this one obviously representing Clueless. Her name is Cheryl, I believe, but clearly a representing Clueless. Cher. Anyways, number 51. They also steal designs from luxury companies. This is just a reference. There's so many other ones, but then also I wrote the sparkle is clearly a reference to Supreme. Not like a luxury design, but like designer company, but still like a pretty well-known one. And I've seen people do detailed lists of like everything that they've stolen, but here's just a few references. And I'm not even somebody into fashion, and sometimes I'm like looking at something and I'm like, that's definitely someone else's design. Number 52. Rainbow High is known for quality control issues like most doll lines. Okay, we're not going to hate on Rainbow High just for this because I know a lot of doll lines have had quality control issues, but as I've gotten a few dolls, I have like, I don't know how many Rainbow High dolls I have. I have a decent amount, but I have at least 3 or 4 that have quality control issues, and one of them being my favorite character, Sunny Madison, having a distinct like leg issue, like they're broken, and I bought her brand new in the box, never been played with, but it was from like it was from like a cheaper store, like they bought pallets and they sell it, and you can't return them, so... but other than that, a lot of times I'll find like little marks on their face, if you can see on some of these dolls. Lila, I believe her lip is actually off a little bit. I don't know if that's what they're pointing at, but that's what I'm looking at. And then the red girl, I cannot think of her name. She's got a little above her eyebrow. There's a little mark. Not too big of issues most of the time. Oh, also her lip is nasty. I'm sorry, that was so rude of me. It just like looks like it's rubbed off. But sometimes when it's too close to like other parts of them, it's hard to fix, which is really annoying. But it's crazy when they can't properly do their stamps. Like they miss the face. It's crazy. Number 53. Crystal Bailey was originally Jet Dawson. Again, if you don't recognize the name Jet Dawson, that was given to a different doll. But her Crystal Bailey, which is the purple doll right here, that's her box. It's Jet Dawson. Her name is Crystal. Number 54. Bella Parker's name was originally Bella Harper. Number 55. Phaedra Westward was originally Simone Summers. Phaedra is on the, gotta do my hand signals, left side of the screen in the red and yellow, and Phaedra is in that, and Simone Summers is in the blue. Phaedra, her name was originally Simone Summers, according to basic research that I did, and then they introduced, in the same line that Phaedra was introduced, Simone Summers, so kind of confusing, but... interesting. I love when like they change up names. She would be like the 3rd doll that they switched names for too. Crazy. Sorry. 56. There was little to no competition for Rainbow High. A few dolls that were released in 2020, which was when Rainbow High was released, was Cave Club, #FailFix, Hair Adorables, which was, again, all targeted towards younger collectors. MJA was releasing LOL Surprise and OMG dolls at the time. Barbie was releasing the BMR 1959, Barbie Extras, Barbie Fashionistas. Mattel was also creating Monster High collector dolls at the time. But in my opinion, I genuinely do not think that Rainbow High had much competition going out that could compete with them. There was a decent amount of dolls out, but I don't think that anything was really reaching what Rainbow High was releasing. I think a lot of the dolls out there were more targeted towards a younger demographic, excluding the 2 Mattel lines, the Monster High and the BMR, which were more targeting... Was BMR actually out? I think they were. Which was more targeting collectors. But for whatever reason, Rainbow High was more of a play line that interested collectors. I don't know. Just a thought. Number 57. In season 2 of the Rainbow High series on Netflix, there was a spooky blocked off hallway that was never resolved or explained in the series again. Number 58, Bella and Jade ship. A lot of people, when they watched the show, shipped Bella and Jade. It made a lot of, just suggestive moments. But this was never confirmed. It's never, I don't know if it was denied, but it was never confirmed. It was never talked about, really. Yeah. Number 59. There are 6 known schools, Rainbow High, in the Rainbow High universe. Rainbow High, Shadow High, Pacific Coast, Bottom Barrel High, Kinsley High, Kinsley High is from Australia, and a school in Korea. So sorry, I got real tripped up at the end. I was like, that's 7, because I thought it said a Australian school, but that's Kinsley. Anyways, this is a photo of Rainbow High, though. Number 60. Out of the 6 known schools in the Rainbow High universe, 2 of which got their own spin-off doll lines, Pacific Coast and Shadow High. 61. Pacific Coast was a school on the water, and they made 8 dolls in the spin-off before the line ended up getting canceled. Number 62. Of the 8 dolls, 7 of them were new characters that were introduced to the Rainbow High franchise. Number 63. Bella Parker, who was introduced in the TV show and introduced in the Rainbow High doll line series 2, attended Pacific Coast and got her own doll. Number 64. One of the dolls that was introduced in the Pacific Coast lineup was Paris Hilton, who was a special edition doll, and she was meant to represent their principal or headmistress. I don't know what they call it. I didn't watch the show. Number 65. Shadow High was released in 2022. Number 66. Shadow High is a rival school to Rainbow High, and it's just across the street from Rainbow High. They are a visual arts school. Number 67. The first wave of Shadow High dolls are in grayscale, but the other waves feature dolls with colorful skin. You can see the one in the very end of the photo, towards the right. She's part of wave 1. The rest are not a part of wave 1. Colorful skin, very gorgeous. Number 68. Ainsley transferred from Rainbow High to Shadow High in order to seek individuality. Ainsley is also the last doll that we got a part of the A's in the show. There were like a group of 3 characters called something the A's or something like that. I don't remember what they were actually called, just a little side note here. And in the first year of the dolls being released, we got Avery, in that extra pack. Aiden was eventually released, and Ainsley was the last to make the group of A's, which was really fun and cool. Number 69. Shadow High was never officially canceled, but nothing has come out since 2023. I did this like a couple weeks ago. I made this list. I do actually believe that they have collector dolls that are currently out now. So that's really neat. Number 70. Rainbow High released 3 twin packs. One was Laurel and Holly from Rainbow High, Naomi and Veronica Storm, who represented Shadow High, and Sunny and Luna Madison, who were twins, Sunny being of Rainbow High and Luna being of Shadow High, also both released in their schools Series 1, so Sunny being released in Series 1 of Rainbow High, Luna being released in Series 1 of Shadow High. Number 71. There are 7 boy dolls that were released in Rainbow High throughout all of the different spin-off series. This is representing 5. One of them is the second dude there, his junior high, and I actually cannot think of the third, so apologies. I don't know if it's another Shadow High or Rainbow High doll. I feel like it's gotta be Rainbow High, but maybe I'm wrong. Number 72. In season 3 of the Rainbow High series, they did a concept called Rainbow Vision, inspired by Eurovision, which is a musical competition. They released their own songs. Number 73. There were 3 groups part of this competition that got dolls. Each group had 3 dolls on them, meaning 9 dolls were released. These groups were called the Divas. Let's make sure it's in the right order. Yeah, Divas, the Royal 3, and Neon Shadows. All of these dolls came with their stands, an extra outfit. Did they come with extra outfits? I don't think they came with extra outfits. And musical instruments / accessories. They were about $39.99. I don't think they came with extra outfits. I don't know why I put that, but maybe they did. I don't know. 74. The Royal 3 won the Rainbow Vision competition. Throughout the season 3, or when they talked about the Rainbow Vision, they said Rainbow High has never lost, so it was cool to see them get defeated. Number 75. 3 of Rainbow High's last dolls consisted of Lilac Lane with a tall and slender body type, Blue Brook with a curvy body type. She also had a cast on her arm, and Pinky Page with a curvy and slightly tall body type. Number 76. Around late 2023 and early 2024, Rainbow High rebranded or rebooted the doll line. Number 77. The rebrand took a different approach in which it shifted the dolls from a luxury brand to a more juvenile approach. Number 78. The first wave of the rebrand consisted of 6 characters: Ruby Anderson, Sunny Madison, Jade Hunters, Skylar Bradshaw, Violet Willows, and Amaya. Poppy would not return to the reboot. Number 79. These dolls had slightly less articulation, losing wrist articulation, as well as featuring slime elements and pets in which you could add slime into the pets. Number 80. The reboot dolls would also feature new outfits. Sunny and Ruby were the most similar to the first series in the original Rainbow High dolls, but the rest of the dolls significantly changed. Number 81. The new demographic for the rebrand would be ages 4 and up. Number 82. Rainbow World was the name given to the TV series when the rebrand occurred, in which there were portals to get to magical worlds. Number 83. During the reboot, Rainbow High also released 6 fashion packs. The fashion packs are then placed on dolls that already existed. Number 84. 4 of the dolls that were released a part of a budget swim line. They wore fabric swim outfits, and they consisted of Skylar in the blue, Sunny in yellow, Ruby in red, and Violet in purple. Number 85. The Rebrand also released 4 junior high dolls, which were a part of a Slumber Party line. These was Bella, Sunny, Skylar, and Violet, and I also believe they have a band line also consisting of 4 dolls, but it's new. I don't remember who it was. Very cute though. 86. Rainbow High's reboot also brought a Sparkle and Shine line, which it consisted of 4 dolls with glitter and liquid in their legs. I believe there's more than one wave of this line, and they give me like Novi Star vibes with like this liquid in the legs. Not mad about the reboot. I want to say I do actually think these are quite cute, especially some of the faces. The 2 on the right side are very pretty. They get a lot of hate, and I wish more people would give them a chance. But I understand the diminished quality, the more targeting towards children. I get it. Number 87. Winter Wonderland was a line that you can add water to the powder in the jackets and it would puff up. Number 88. Creative Crystal is my favorite line, a part of the rebrand so far, and it introduced Iris Bow to the line up. They're gem inspired, very cute. I think Skylar is the best a part of the line. Her design is just absolutely beautiful. I really, really want to get her. Number 89. The rebrand would consist of many dolls that were more interactive than just a doll. They released a wave of color creations, which the dolls had white outfits and white hair, and then you could color them in. The first wave consisted of different outfits. The second wave consisted of the same outfits, different hair texture, as well as skin tones. Number 90. Rainbow High has also released 2 other doll lines that lack articulation, only having 5 points. Here's an example. I believe this is one of the newer ones. The outfits themselves are not the most horrible things in the world, but it is just disappointing to see the lack of articulation, as a lot of collectors know what that typically means when articulation diminishes, especially because a lot of their other dolls that lacked articulation, like the ones that I talked about in the beginning of the Rainbow High, when they did like the same dolls but like slightly toned down outfits, they were being sold at Dollar General. This line, the other one that they have, and the swim line, all were sold in retail stores. We saw that with Monster High, Ever After High. We see that with other lines, and it does typically just mean that it's going downhill and it could get canceled eventually. So, number 91. Another slight spin-off that they did, they introduced Rainbow High Littles, which were smaller size dolls that were the younger siblings of the Rainbow High characters. Sorry, here they are. And it's not the original 6. It's got Skylar's little sister, don't ask their names. You can see the blue. The yellow one is Sunny's little sister. The light purple sitting down is Violet's. Amaya's is right above her. I believe the one purple one in the middle is going to be Crystal's sibling, again adding maybe a bit more diversity. And then the one in dark pink is Stella, Monroe's sister. Not Bella, Stella. Yep. Number 92. Rainbow High Littles were released in 2024. 93. The Rainbow High Little dolls' outfits consisted of some fabric pieces and some rubbery plastic, such as the kind that can be found on LOL dolls, as well as Na Na Na, that kind of like idea. Also, 2 dolls made by MGA. Number 94. There are 2 Rainbow High Littles that come with playsets. And I believe that's Bella's sister and Kaya Hart's sister. Number 95. The Rainbow High Littles clothing and eyes have started to rub off. This is kind of referencing, again, more quality control issues. Number 96. Rainbow High Littles also introduced 6 fairies. The stock image is here. Here's the other 6 that the 6th, because that's only 5. She's not in the stock photo. I don't know why. Maybe, no, I don't know. But that's Iris's sister. I think the fairy concept is cute. I like anything that references fairies. The colorfulness is quite cute. It is kind of confusing on why she's not a part of it. Maybe they added her last. I don't know. Number 97. In 2020 through 2021, the slogan for Rainbow High was Collect the Rainbow. In 2021 to 2023, it changed to Let Your Colors Shine. And their current slogan is Shine Bright Together. Number 98. The rebrand was seen as the end of Rainbow High. I've done a video before where I talked about it, but a lot of people sold their collection. I've made a point to say that it's crazy to me that people sold their pre-existing collections. A lot of people, when I made that video, said, I get not purchasing more dolls. And I kind of said that. I get not purchasing more dolls. If you're not interested in them, don't buy dolls that you don't like. But to sell the dolls that you did like, it's just bizarre to me. Number 99. There are over 200 Rainbow High dolls. This was a quick Google search. I hope that that's right. Because I tried to count, but I got tired. And number 100, okay? There we go. Got lost. From what I can tell, Rainbow High's brand is still going strong. They even brought back Shadow High dolls, the collector, and they are now collector dolls for 2025. I have no clue if they're bringing back the Shadow High brand or if it's just bringing back these 2 dolls, but Rainbow High seems to be going pretty strong. I'm curious on whether or not the rebrand is working for them, and I'm hoping that seeing the budget dolls does not mean that the end of Rainbow High, because I do really like the line, and I am seeing dolls in the rebrand that I do really want and like. But I have been kind of pulling away from purchasing MGA dolls for some of their bad behavior. Anyways, that is kind of all that I have for the video. This was 100 facts about Rainbow High. As far as I can tell, the last 100th fact that I just did, Rainbow High isn't getting canceled yet. They're going strong. There's no they're still releasing dolls, which is crazy. I wish the best for the fans that really like them, not for the company, but for the workers that work there. I think Rainbow High is such a fun and interesting line. I would have loved to see them actually say that Bella and Jade were dating, but whatever. Anyways, that's all that I have for the video. Stay tuned for more because I'm going to do some other dolls and talk about them. But yeah, I'm MacPrep. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!